Hi there, and welcome to the Surviving and Thriving in Residency podcast. I'm Charley Lowry, your host and director of GME Relations at PracticeLink. This show is all about exploring the world of graduate and undergraduate medical education. We'll dive into the real-life experiences, successes, and challenges faced by medical students, residents, and fellows, while also highlighting valuable tools to support you, whether that's financial planning, student aid, or the many free resources provided by PracticeLink. If you're thinking about med school, currently studying, or deep into residency or fellowship, this podcast is here to offer insights and support to make your journey a bit easier than those before you. Welcome to Surviving and Thriving in Residency, brought to you by PracticeLink, where we help residents and fellows prepare for their career journey with confidence. I'm your host, Charley Lowry, Director of GME Relations here at PracticeLink. Growing up with an early understanding of how fragile life can be, Dr. Abdelrahman Gadallah transformed personal loss into a driving commitment to medicine. After witnessing his father's rapid decline from coronary artery disease and diabetes, he dedicated himself to a future in which he could change patients' lives through compassionate, skilled care. His journey has taken him from serving as vice president of his medical school's scientific committee and volunteering in rural Egypt to earning his MD from the Alexandria University Faculty of Medicine. He served 3 demanding years as a Navy physician with the Egyptian Naval Forces, providing care in submarines 300 meters below sea level and during major military operations in the Mediterranean. He went on to broaden his experience as a general consultant physician in the Maldives during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, managing complex cases across islands and coordinating emergency transport by plane, helicopter, and boat. In 2023, he achieved a lifelong dream by matching into internal medicine at SSM Health, St. Mary's Hospital in St. Louis, where he has thrived academically and clinically. Now a third-year chief resident, he is recognized for his leadership, dedication to his colleagues, and passion for the field, preparing him for a future as a hospitalist and leader in internal medicine. Outside of the hospital, he enjoys traveling, cooking, hiking, and swimming, and is passionate about wellness, mentorship, and supporting other international medical graduates as they navigate the transition into U.S. medical training. So with all that said, I would like to welcome you, Abdel, to the podcast. How are you today?
Thank you so much, Charlie, for the amazing introduction. And I'm doing great. I'm so happy to be with you today. And I always love the chance that we can talk a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, you're an amazing individual. I mean, that's a lot to have already accomplished so young in your career. So I think what we'll do is we'll just start with kind of going back in time a little bit and starting at the beginning. And what inspired you overall to pursue medicine in Egypt?
It's pretty, that kind of questions, if when it's opened, it bring up a lot of nostalgia going back because I started my med school in 2008. We are talking about 17 years ago. And 2 years before that, when my dad passed away, and I was in secondary school in Egypt. And for people who are familiar with the educational system in Egypt, we have to go to university after secondary school. And in secondary school, here where we can choose some subjects or some sciences, so that will help us to decide later, am I going to something like medicine, am I going for engineering, am I going for something like this or like that. So as a kid, I always wanted to be an engineer. And everybody knew that about me, that I love to be an engineer. I love math, I love calculations, I love stuff like this. But when my dad, he started being a little bit more sick, he was having a lot of complications started to come up, and I didn't know anything about medicine at this time. And in my second year of my secondary school, which is pretty critical in our education back in Egypt, he passed away. And that was sudden. He wasn't that kind of a person who got admitted for months inside the hospital. He wasn't the person who was in ICU with terminal illness. It was a sudden death, and it was shocking for us. And a few months before he dies, he was telling me, he was not really pushing, he was giving the chance for all of us, me and my brother and sister, whatever we want to study, we can. But one day I remember when he told me, like just a few months before he passed away, he said, "You would look really great being a doctor, and I would love to see that." So when he passed away, I studied so hard in my second year of secondary school, and I scored super high. And here, when we get the chance in Egypt, so to go for the third year, score another high score, and then we can go for the med school. And at this point, I made my decision. I told myself I'm even working more hard this year to get a higher score, and I will get myself qualified for the med school. And it happened. So I went to Alexandria Med School, and it's all started there.
Wow, that's incredible. I'm sorry about your father passing.
Thank you.
I'm sure he would be very, very proud of you today. So let's talk about that. So you entered Alexandria University. How was that? What was medical school like, and how was that first year?
So medical school in Egypt, it's pretty intense. We are talking about 6 years of academic and clinical study plus 1 year of internship. So I started first year in 2008, September 2008, and I finished the sixth year in the end of 2014. And then we wait for the results to get results in February, and then March 1st of 2015 we start the internship, which is considered as a final year to get our diploma or our graduation until end of February 2016. Many years of study to get graduated as a doctor in Egypt. And first 3 years we go for what's called the basic knowledge, like histology, physiology, pathology, and then the final 3 years, like fourth, fifth, and sixth years, we go for the clinical applications. So we started doing internal medicine, pediatrics, surgeries, and stuff like this. But in the beginning of me being in the medical school, I was so much fascinated with the amount of activities was being done there. I had the privilege to be among many colleagues who were super active, and they are always doing something. We were always doing, okay, we're having a conference soon. Okay, what about getting this course over here in Alexandria Medical School for our colleagues to do it? So why not we go for a trip to see the pyramids? Why not to go for some diving in Sharm el-Sheikh? Let's do this activity. So I was fascinated with that. So I joined the beginning of my medical school. I joined the Alexandria Medical Student Union, where under that they have some committees, and then I joined the scientific committee. And I was among those group who was doing those scientific activities, competitions or conferences or even scientific trips. And I kept working so hard with them. So in second year of my college or my sophomore year, it was this time in Egypt where they started doing things into doing elections, putting people into like actions and taking decisions and stuff like this. So they did elections, and I was selected from my colleagues to be part of this committee, and I got hired as the vice president of the scientific committee in Alexandria Medical Student Union. And from there, I got my way to be a member in the whole Alexandria University Student Union, which is not just about the medical school. It was the whole university with different schools, like medical school, engineering school, the law school, the educational school. So it was amazing experience, especially at this time when Egypt, many things were moving and changing around us. And then I continued doing that until I graduated, with many activities were coming in and out for my life.
That's so nice. And I think a great thing about that too is when you join groups like that, it kind of incorporates you into the learning process, but you also have your group of people, right? You find your people you connect with,
Yeah.
and it's a great way to really incorporate yourself into the whole experience.
Yes. Yes. And it's some sort of something enjoyable when you put yourself or when you surround yourself with people that look like you in the ways you're thinking. They have the same goal like you, they have the same visions, they have similar dreams. So you can walk together for so long, for long distances.
Yeah. So now, when you were doing clinicals, did you have a rotation that you absolutely loved? Was internal medicine your favorite rotation, or was there anything that you truly enjoyed more than others?
It was internal medicine for sure. It's until now. For me, being internal medicine resident right now, it started way back during med school. Me loving the internal medicine. I still remember those kind of professors who make you fall in love with certain specialty or certain subject. Those kind of professors who really deeply understand every single word in those books, and they talk about this in passion, and then they transfer this passion to you and they build it inside you. I still remember one of the great professors in Egypt. He was doing the physiology, he was teaching physiology, and he used to come to teach us the cardiac physiology. That was fascinating. I don't think I ever enjoyed lectures the way I enjoyed with this professor. From here, even from before starting the clinical rotations, I love the idea of internal medicine. Just to start thinking behind what's seen in front of you. This is the idea of internal medicine. It's like a puzzle. It's like a mystery, a mysterious box that you can't open, but you need to understand what's happening inside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it. So you had mentors early on that kind of shaped who you are today, it sounds like.
Yeah. And that's something I'm really grateful for.
And I see that in yourself and what I know about you and your residency program. I think you're a great mentor yourself, whether you know that or not. But I think that you have great capabilities in being a mentor for some of those younger residents.
Thank you so much, Charlie. Thank you.
Did you know PracticeLink, the nation's most trusted physician recruitment resource, now offers PracticeLink Pro Marketing? PracticeLink Pro Marketing is a brand new, powerful recruitment sourcing solution built just for healthcare organizations. With custom strategies, targeted reach, and data-driven results, PracticeLink Pro Marketing helps you attract top-tier candidates and fill hard-to-reach roles faster. Ready to elevate your recruitment game? Visit PracticeLink.com and schedule your free consultation today.
So now, at what point did you decide that you wanted to pursue residency in the United States?
So, since actual med school, it has been also a dream growing inside me because we had a very good training in university hospitals in Egypt, and I'm very grateful for many things I have learned there. But also, I have always seen the idea of being in a place where resources are available everywhere and things that will be more ready to use. It's mainly the resources, the idea of being in a very, very highly resourced area with a very structured training. So it has been there since I was in med school, actually, to come here and do residency. It's a very, very old dream. It's not something that came up after graduation. It has been always there.
Yeah, yeah. And what about, did any of your classmates also come to the US with you, or do you know?
Yeah, a lot. I have a lot of classmates who came to the US in different specialities, and they are everywhere. Many states around, actually. I have a lot of people that I know very well. They are among the highly ranked places in the US. They are doing residencies or fellowships in those places.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Alexandria University, I mean, it has a great reputation, I think, worldwide for medical training. So I'm sure that helped having that background. What do you think was the most challenging part about making the decision to leave and come to the US?
It's pretty hard. And it's not just for me when it comes to thinking about moving to the US, because this is not short-term move. It's a life that will be built in another totally different continent. Because once you start here, you need to continue your education. Education doesn't stop after residency. I do believe it will never stop. But the idea of moving outside Egypt, it was started already early in after my graduation. Because when I started my work in the Egyptian Naval Forces, which is a kind of work that I'm so much proud of, this is the most honorable work I've ever done in my life. I will always say that. And I learned there how really to live alone and to face a lot of difficulties or challenges. And after that, I went to Maldives. I lived there for more than 2 years. So the idea of being outside Egypt, away from family, it has been gradually introduced to me already. So when it came for me to be in the US, which becomes the one that's concerned very long term travel away from family, away from home, or away from Egypt, it was already an acceptable idea for me and the family, especially as the purpose for me being here to learn more and to gain more experience and to go further in my dreams.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about the naval experience. So what led to that? Was that something that you always wanted to do as well?
So we have this kind of system in Egypt for people who are able to serve if they are medically fit, if they have certain criteria, and also some sort of, how can I say, certain IQ level and stuff like this. They will be chosen to serve in military, either soldiers or officers, but with higher qualities, they take us as officers. And it was an honor for me to be chosen as an officer. So I got it chosen there to start as a lieutenant physician, and that came after 5 months of very, very intensive military training, which is super intensive. Like, where you come out from there and you tell yourself, you can survive wherever you are. Like, you really can survive wherever you are. And then after that, I started as a lieutenant physician, and they sent me to serve in the Navy. And I was in Alexandria, which is the main place for the Egyptian naval forces, and it's one of the biggest naval forces in the Middle East, even the world. It was very, very amazing world rank right now. And there where I really learned a lot. I learned in medicine because I served in the Egyptian Naval Hospital, or the General Naval Hospital, which is a very, very big hospital with amazing resources, and which serves mainly like the Navy personnel plus their families. So we used to have also some elderly patients who have comorbidities like any other hospital. But also, I had the privilege to serve on the submarines unit, and I used to be sent as a medic for the mission, which really taught me a lot in the way of learning how to really be always mentally stable and ready and able to think while you are totally disconnected. You don't know anything about the world. Nobody knows anything about you. You're completely disconnected with being in this place, just doing only something which is taking care of the crew if they have any medical issue. That is assigned for you. That's why you're here. That's what you're gonna do. And that's it. And this taught me the discipline. This taught me the punctuality. This taught me that it's not a must that we understand the higher picture for us to be disciplined. We have to be disciplined so the higher picture will get done correctly. That's something I learned there. And then I was honored to be promoted to be the first lieutenant, and then I got the second star over my shoulder. And this is the kind of pictures I love the most for myself. I love it so much. Like, it was an honor for me. And then after completing around 3 years, I got done with my service, and then I was able to travel like outside and go continue my work and stuff like this. So a lot of things I have learned from the Egyptian Navy, and I'm so grateful for this experience. This is exactly the kind of experience, if time goes back for me 100 times, I will always choose to do it.
Yeah. It's incredible. It's incredible. I wish sometimes I think that that's a great system, because it is like you said, a great way to learn discipline. And I think that there's a lot to it. There's so many factors to it. You are doing something for your country as well as learning discipline. And a lot of people grow up, that's a great way to grow up.
Yep.
Right. So now you come back, you are applying to come to the US. Can you talk a little bit about applying as an international medical graduate, what that process was like for you, and how many places you applied to, and kind of what the cost on all of it was?
So for an IMG, that's a very hard process. That's a very, very hard process because with whom you are competing. So you compete with American medical graduates, with very well-known med schools they are coming from. You compete with an amazing, huge amount of international medical graduates, like they have the same circumstances like me. And many people of those applicants, they have super strong CVs. Like I was talking to many applicants at this time, and just to see how you're doing, how things are going with you in the season, they were great people. We were talking about people with tons of publications in the most reputable journals around the world. We were talking about people who got done their MPH or even PhD degrees, and they're applying for residency here. So it's incredibly strong competition to apply as an IMG. So, and that comes to the second question, how many programs that we have to apply to? I do believe almost all IMGs, or let me not say all, because maybe in the vast majority of IMGs, they apply for more than 100 programs just to increase their chances to get more interviews, because it's very, very hard. It's very hard. I do believe every program, if the program is offering 10 to 15 or 20 positions every year, they may receive more than 4,000 to 5,000 applications. It's super, super hard competition. So I applied for more than 100 programs, and the cost was really, really painful process for me, because when it comes to paying something with US dollar while you're working outside the US and you don't really receive a salary with the US dollar, and you will have to go through multiple process and multiple steps for you just to get some dollars, just to get the dollars and to get the dollar account, so you can pay for the interviews, you can pay for the application, you can pay for your travel to do some rotation here, so you can pay for whatever is needed for that. Especially, I didn't have, at this time, I didn't have any family in the US, and all my friends who were applying, they still have the same circumstances like me. They all need help. I have to go through that alone, especially I'm the first doctor in the extended family. I would say first doctor maybe in my street back in Alexandria. It has been a long journey, and it was really hard at this time, really going through those applications. So that's why when the matching results come, and I remember this email very well. It's like, congratulations, you have matched. This moment was different in my life.
Looking for your first job after training? With PracticeLink, your job search starts and stays on your terms. You control when employers see your contact information. No spam, no cold calls, just relevant jobs from verified recruiters. Join thousands of physicians using PracticeLink to take the next step with confidence. Sign up free at practicelink.com.
So, did you know anything at all about St. Louis at the time, or did you have to start researching the city itself?
So when I got invited from my program here to go for the interview, I started searching about St. Louis. And I was like, what are those people are talking about this city? That looks worrisome. What's happening there? And then I got my interview, and I talked to the program here, and they told me a lot about St. Louis. And I started searching, and then I found out that St. Louis is a great city, very underrated.
Yep.
And the statistics about safety issues in St. Louis, it's pretty misleading. St. Louis, I would say, is the county with multiple areas and cities inside the county, like Richmond Heights, Clayton, Chesterfield, Baldwin, Grief Square, Kirkwood, super safe places. we have a certain area that we really need to take care of, that we really need to be careful if we want to go there or not, or if we are walking there, how we're gonna be just like mindful to the surroundings. But it doesn't apply to the whole county, which is very beautiful and safe. So when I came to St. Louis, I found out that St. Louis is way, way better than what I thought about it. And it has a lot to offer than what I thought about it. And it's way safer than what I thought about it. So it was a good surprise for me.
Yeah. And you have a great, or at that time, you had a great program director. You have a great program director today. Just a wonderful network of people there for sure. So I feel like you're very blessed to be there. I do love St. Louis, and I think that has amazing things to offer.
Yeah.
So now, what about studying? How did you study? Were there any specific resources you used or anything like that?
Yeah, so the major resources that is very well known for everybody applying, of course, the UWorld question bank is the most important resource. First, a book, which one of my friends who was done with his exam just was giving me the books just to study. So I took the books from one of my friends and did the subscription for the UWorld, and I kept studying that over and over and over. And until I became confident that I can apply for the exam right now. So mainly it's those the most important resources, the UWorld and the first aid at this time. I'm not really following what's happening right now, if there is any change or not, or if applicants they have different resources for study. But at this time, and that was in 22, 21, it was first aid and UWorld.
Okay. Yep. So how about, can you talk about any misconceptions that international medical graduates may have about the match process?
That's a pretty hard question because as an IMG, we keep searching about the matching process in a way nobody can really imagine. We deeply search that. We search that on any possible way to search. And we hear from every people, hear from everyone who's talking about the matching process and how you navigate that. And what I would say really about that, some people who IMGs they think connections would do much more than it should, which I find not really so accurate. Connections help, for sure. Connections help to give you a chance to show yourself. But if you don't know how to show yourself very well, if you don't have the good CV for what you're applying for, I don't think connections can really make you cross some lines that you will not be able to cross it without the connections. That's what I can say about it.
Yeah. What about advice? What advice would you give current IMGs beginning the journey today?
First of all, I will tell them I totally understand what you're going through. I totally understand what you feel, especially the competition is getting way harder. We have a lot of changes coming in visa issues, and everyone is unsure about what's really going on. Also, the number of applicants every year they are getting bigger. Every program is getting way more higher number of applicants compared to the previous years. So the competition is getting even harder right now. So what I would really advise for medical graduates or the IMGs is to try to come and do rotations here in the US, here where people can really assess you. Because I do remember someone told me if you are rotating in a certain place and this place they have a residency that fits your requirements, you are being interviewed and monitored in every step you take inside this hospital. Every word you say, everything you dress on yourself, every word you tell to the attending or the resident or med student or nurse or ancillary staff, your behavior, your attitude. If you are able to do that, which is very hard also just to do that, it's very hard to get it. very, very hard to get the chance to rotate in the US, and very, very costly for IMGs who are coming from outside. This is very high cost. But if you are able to do that, that's very, very helpful. Also, what I would consider, if you are still a medical student, please do a lot of extracurricular activities. It's being so much appreciated here in the US. If you were an active member in medical student union or any group that helps students to improve themselves, or any organizational committees that works for student and makes their life easier, or even working sometimes with some projects with WHO, which is also something I did during my med school and after graduation. Those things will make your CV look way, way better and look different. This is also something very important you can do right now if you are still a student, and for sure working on research and publications. That also would help a lot.
Great. Yep. So now tell me about arriving in the US. What was that like? What were your emotions, your surprises, your challenges?
So I arrived in the US before doing residency because I had to do some rotations. So I went to multiple cities in the US. I went to Seattle, Washington. I went to Houston, Texas, and I went to Philadelphia, and I went to New York just for fun. New York, I didn't have rotation in New York, but it was just for fun.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was pretty different. So in the beginning, when I landed here, I found USA, especially what was the first city I have seen in the US was Seattle. That's where I landed first time in the US, 2022. And I loved the nature. This is something really amazed me, the nature. Like I loved the nature. I loved it so much. And I noticed that Americans are pretty friendly. The people on the street, they tell you good morning, and you never saw them before. And I remember first time people were saying to me good morning, and I was looking behind me. Is it me or somebody behind? I don't know really, is it me or not? And it took me a while that, yeah, people, they don't know me, but they're saying good morning. That's nice. I love it. So, and then people were saying, hey, good morning. How are you today? How are you doing? And then I started to have a conversation with somebody I never saw before. And I figured out that's normal here. And wow, people are very social and nice. I loved it. So that was very good experience actually in the beginning. And in 2022, I came just for a few months to do rotations and come back to Egypt until I wait for the matching results and stuff like this. And did many rotations in the US, took my step 3 exam in Houston, and then I went back. I waited for my matching result, and then I came to St. Louis for my residency in 23. And then, okay, I came here. I told myself, you used to live alone. Like, you have been living alone in Maldives in the middle of the Indian Ocean. And yeah, now you're here for one of your dreams, one of your biggest dreams actually, is to do the internal medicine in US. So let's do it. And since the beginning, of course, I had many hard times, many challenging times, but I have been enjoying that. Last year I got married, so I'm not really alone right now. But before that, I had my friends. And that's also something very important I would really mention. Being in a place, being in a program where you can find residents are behaving as a family. I don't remember one day I was sick and nobody came to me. No, it was always people. Someone is coming with food. Someone is bringing some medications. Someone who comes to offer to take me with his car for whatever I want to go. I was blessed being here with this group of residents where it feels like family. It feels like home. It didn't really feel so lonely here. Even before I get married, I didn't really feel lonely being among my colleagues.
Yeah. That's so incredible. How about stepping into the hospital in the US for the first time? What was that like? I mean, that had to be a big shock, right?
Yeah, it was a very big shot because what was going in my mind at this moment, okay, here you are, and there is a lot to do, and how are you gonna prove yourself here? how you're gonna build the reputation that you really want to build. And the first thing came to my mind, I told, okay, it's hard work because it's a new system. So of course, people are not really expecting from you that you're gonna open the electronic medical records and just start navigating that while you never seen that before. But people will see your hard work. People will see your punctuality. People will see your discipline. And people will get motivated to teach you more because you are showing those qualities. That's what I told myself. And that's what I worked on, is to be disciplined, is to be hard worker, is to show enthusiasm, is to take care of my patients as much as I can, is to give my all to work as long as I'm here inside the hospital. And once I get done with my work, I have to keep myself ready for the next day. I had to keep myself away from being burned out. So it came the other part, which usually comes after work, and I always tell my residents right now, the chief or the upcoming interns, you need to make sure you're not going into burning out. You will not burn yourself out. And then I had to do what I enjoy always doing, which is exercising, going to gym, going to swimming, hiking, and for any chance I had to go hiking, I used to go. Any chance I'm going to gym or swimming, I used to do it. And that's how I was keeping myself ready for the next day. So despite doing very hard work during the day in the hospital, but I always remember after work, there is some time for myself and it's only for myself. I'm just recovering right now.
I love it. Yeah, that's great. We always talk about almost every episode of the podcast when I talk to residents or students. We always talk about mind, body, and spirit, how to keep that in check, how to make sure that you don't experience burnout, and what to do if you do. But great ways to stay healthy. And it sounds like you found your community for sure there in St. Louis, as well as a healthy lifestyle. So I think that's very important.
Yep.
Yeah, for overall well-being. So tell me a little bit about St. Mary's if you want to. Of course, I've been to St. Mary's several times and it seems like such a great place. What was your feeling walking into St. Mary's on your first day? And just tell me a little bit about it.
So we are talking about a hospital that was built more than 100 years ago. And last year we celebrated here the St. Mary's being there for around a century. So this is very, very well established and well-known hospital in the whole state of Missouri. And they have a very, very solid educational system when it comes to internal medicine, and we have also great program here for OB/GYN, and we have also surgeries, and we have family medicine program, and we have great specialties and like great specialists in cardiology, ICU, endocrinology, nephrology. So St. Mary's is a very, very strong educational place where they really know how to teach medicine and they really know how to hold somebody's hand and make him go through certain steps so he will be able to graduate by the end of the 3 years to be an attending, either doing primary care, going for a fellowship, doing hospitalist, doing whatever you want to do. You will be ready. It's a very, very structured program here in St. Mary's Hospital, and that happened before the hospital itself has the resources to build a very strong program. They have specialists, they have everything that is needed to help residents to really graduate as good doctors. And what's very important also to mention is the area being served by St. Mary's and the diversity of patients we see here. We can see a wide variety of patients that ranges between very common cases that we see every day, multiple times, and very rare cases that very hard to be seen anywhere else. So it's a great place.
And I think they are very well versed in working with international medical graduates in their program, right?
That's true. That's true. Our program is very well known about diversity. I mean, if you see the group of residents here, it wouldn't be more diverse than this. We are from every corner around the world, and this is something I'm so proud of. This is the thing I'm proud of the most about my program is the diversity we have. I tried different kind of foods. Okay, I tried Indian, Pakistani food. I tried Nigerian food. I tried Kenyan food. I tried Nepali. I tried Nepali food. I tried Iraqi food. And they tried Egyptian food for sure. So, and many, many others. We are from every corner around the world. And that's very culturally rich. We're so rich in our culture here. If you can just see us doing some sort of celebration or something, you will see multiple colors, you will hear multiple languages, and you will eat different kind of foods. And you will not feel like you want to go. You don't want to go this. You don't want to leave this. It's very enjoyable here.
Yeah, that's the feeling I get there. And you have a support network. You have your program director and your program coordinator who are just so great. I think they're very supportive to the IMGs.
Yep, they are, and they are also so proud of the diversity of the program here. And they are keeping that, and that's great.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about becoming chief resident. Some of our listeners out there are medical students or maybe pre-med thinking about applying to medical school, and they may not even know what chief resident responsibilities are or how the process works in becoming chief resident. So can you talk about that for a little bit?
Yep, so there are two types of chief residents. There is what's called fourth year chief resident, which is after you graduate from residency, you're done with 3 years, and you will apply as a fourth year chief resident with an administrative work and also hospitalist work. And there is another kind of being a chief, which is being a chief in your third year. And that's what I'm doing right now. So currently in my program, we don't have the fourth year chief, which is dedicated chief, but we are third year chiefs. So I know I'm one of them. We have two and I'm one of them. And how the process goes, it's not something you apply for. It's not certain kind of application you have to go through. You get it chosen, and I do believe that's based on the reputation you build from day one you step inside the hospital. As I told you before, here the medical system is very, very well monitored. And that's something great also that keeps everyone known for his effort and known for his quality work. So I had the privilege and the honor to be one of the third year chiefs. And I do believe that was a recommendation from multiple attendings, from program directors, and also associate directors. And I do believe also it comes from coordinators, from clinic staff, from nurses, from head nurses, from the ICU attendings, from pharmacists. And I do believe it should be an agreement about many people working inside the hospital and with the program to choose the chief residents, because here where they will have the link between residents and administration, and here where things will become linked together in a way that will push the program forward. So it was an honor for me for sure to be chosen to be the third year chief resident here at St. Mary's.
Now, will you have input on next year's chief? They will include your recommendations in that process or no?
So until now, I do believe that will happen. That recommendation will be considered for sure. We didn't really start yet, but I'm 100% sure that also will be considered to get an input from us as co-chiefs here and input from hospitalists, from also clinic staff and nurses and ICU personnel about the upcoming chiefs. So yeah, it's a process that happens every year to choose carefully the third year chiefs.
Yeah. So now tell me, during residency, I feel like it's probably very difficult or almost impossible to go home to Egypt.
It's very, very hard for me to keep traveling back and forth because residency is residency. Like I always tell myself and tell my colleagues, residency, it means it's a condensed training time that you will need to finish, that you will have the privilege to work as what's called like hospitalist and attending. So we don't really get during residency that time, like big time for vacations to go and travel. And it takes me 2 days to arrive Egypt. A lot of connections flights, a lot of transits. So I have been to Egypt twice since the beginning of residency. Every time I went there for almost 2 weeks. And the last time was last February where I got married and I came back again. But other than this, I didn't really go to Egypt even during my vacations because it takes really too much to arrange for. And also, it comes here the cost of traveling and the arranging for that and how many time will be taken from the vacation until I land in Egypt and how many times will take it to come back to here. So it's not really easy to do that.
Hmm. You still have family there, though, right? And you stay in close contact with the family.
Yeah, for sure. I talk to them every day, FaceTime every day. Other than this, my mom is not allowing 2 days, just every day. Yeah,
That's great. That's
yeah.
great. Well, okay. So as we start looking at wrapping up, I feel like I could talk to you all day. I have a million questions for you. I'm skipping out on some of the questions because I, I may save them for another podcast episode. But again, something that I always ask residents, if you could go back to year one of medical school, way back, first year of medical school, what would you tell yourself to worry about less, and what would you focus more on as a first year medical student?
I would tell myself something very important, and I want to tell that also to all the medical students, those who have big dreams, those who are applying for the matching, those who are those who want to go so far in their career. Don't wait until you reach something to enjoy. Please, if you have any chance to enjoy something, do it and don't postpone it until you reach some dreams because you enjoy the journey itself. You enjoy what you have done to come here. If you just keep telling yourself, I will be happy when I reach this goal. I will be happy when I match. I will be happy when I am done with my residency. I will be happy when I get this publication done. You need to be happy now. You need to be happy during the journey. You need to be happy working on your dreams because nothing is guaranteed. And even if you get what you are looking forward, happiness is not guaranteed after that. You need to be happy wherever you are right now. You need to enjoy every step of the way. You need to always find a way to make yourself feeling comfortable, regardless of what's really happening, because not everything really is in your hands. Not everything is in your hands. So that is the most important advice I will tell to everybody. And if time goes back for me to day one in med school, I will tell myself that I shouldn't really postpone any sort of happiness until I reach something. Let me happy now. Let me enjoy the journey.
I love it. I love it. How about first year of residency? If you could go back and face your first day at St. Mary's, is there any advice you'd give yourself, knowing what you know now?
So if I go back to first day at St. Mary's, and at this time I was telling myself what I've just said right now, so I was enjoying already every day. I was enjoying every step of the way. I was enjoying the journey really. And if time goes back, I will do more. I will work more hard, try to learn as much as I can. And I'm so grateful for what I have learned here. I do believe that we have learned here so much. But I would give myself even the chance to do more and get the chance to learn more because we are in the environment where we are able to do that. So that is the thing I would change if time go back, just to do more.
I love it. I love it. Well, so we are going to wrap up. I would like to thank you again, Abdel, for being a guest and for taking time out of your day. I know you're a very busy person and you have a lot going on, but I do appreciate it. Thank you again for joining us on Surviving and Thriving in Residency. For our listeners, check out practicelink.com for free resources, including free CV builder, free CV reviews, and more tools to help you confidently find your first job. I'm Charley Lowry. Thanks for listening, and until next time, keep thriving.